Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It's your guy Boulanger, and up next, we're going to be talking about the Baltimore Ravens schedule. We're going to take a look at the next 5 weeks of Ravens competition. Do me a quick favor, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can get new updates when we upload new videos. Let's go. So, you guys know after the first 4 weeks, I have the Baltimore Ravens sitting at 3-1. Opening the season winning against the Houston Texans, then following that up with the going to Cincinnati Bengals and getting a victory in Cincinnati, coming back home and beating the Indianapolis Colts pretty handily, and then um, going over to Cleveland and taking their first L of the season. I believe this first L will kind of serve as a culture shock, riding high after a few high scoring games, confidence at an all-time high level, and getting brought back down to earth is something that I think every team needs to experience, especially as expectations increase. And so Baltimore would go into week number 5 with a 3-1 record. And so let's take a look at that week 5 matchup. So on October the 8th, the Baltimore Ravens would travel to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And unfortunately, I have the Baltimore Ravens losing this game. So they would lose back-to-back division matchups. All right. The Pittsburgh Steelers is one of those teams that play the Baltimore Ravens pretty even, regardless of offense, regardless of defense, regardless of star power. They play us pretty even. And I think this game right here will do two things in Baltimore. One, I think it will highlight our weaknesses. I think this is the first game that has the potential to really highlight some weak areas. And I think that weak area is going to be the offensive line. I think that with TJ Watt being a flat out stud rushing the passer, if he's healthy and on the field, he can certainly cause the Baltimore Ravens problems, and he has as he has been a Pittsburgh Steeler. And I think that will highlight uh maybe the most weak area on the Baltimore Ravens at this point in time. Now, this is a right now assessment, which is the offensive line. We have a huge question mark at left guard, and and we have somewhat of a question in hopes that Ronnie Stanley maintains his health and continues to improve. Nevertheless, I think TJ Watt wrecks the game, exposing some things on that Baltimore Ravens line. And I think Pittsburgh kind of wrangles the Baltimore Ravens high-flying offense. I think offensively, Pittsburgh will do just enough to win the game. Um, I could see this game being a mid-20s to lower 20s game where the Pittsburgh Steelers pulled out a late game victory with a field goal. We saw enough of Kenny Pickett last year to know that he is the real deal, that he's a more than adequate quarterback. And he'll be coming to his second year with NFL experience. The league will have slowed down to him some. We know he's accurate, and we know he can make plays with his legs, which we saw both last year. We saw him and George Pickens terrorize the Baltimore Ravens secondary. Several plays last year. We saw Deontay Johnson get into the mix, and then they added Allen Robinson, who is a solid veteran, a good wide receiver. Although he had a down year with his first year with the LA Rams, I think that he still is a good player, still has good hands, still a good route runner, still has the ability to make some plays. And so I think that trio plus Pickett give the Baltimore Ravens some trouble. And then you got Najee Harris running the ball out of the backfield. I think it just knocks the Baltimore Ravens for a loop, and we take our second loss in a row, both being in the division. Going into week number 6, I think we bounced back against Tennessee in London. Last time we were in London, it wasn't kind to us, but I think this is a different scenario. I think a team that we recognize very well, the Tennessee Titans, especially in the Lamar Jackson era, I think they have a lot of personnel that's very, very similar as far as their quarterback, their star running back in Derrick Henry. Now they have all new wide receivers since last time we saw them. And so and so I think that number one, I think Baltimore can win this game, and I think they'll win this game going away. And here's why. Tennessee is in a position, from what I can tell, where they're trying to find a new identity. This is a team who questioned trading their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. There was some questions about trading Derrick Henry, who was the face of their franchise, which I talked about Baltimore going to get him. Um, so I did a whole video about that, and so they're in a shift, and we know that they drafted Will Levis and in the second round of this year's draft. So they certainly have a guy who's capable of taking over for Ryan Tannehill. I don't know if he takes over for the first time in Game 6. I think if he takes over for Tannehill, it'll be the week prior. I don't think you travel to a new country and play on a remote field and throw in a new quarterback. So I think that if Will Levis doesn't start the season as the quarterback, I think he takes over for the Baltimore Ravens game. So I think we have a good chance of seeing Will Levis. And him being a rookie quarterback, certainly think that there are some things we can throw at him to confuse him, maybe get a couple of picks, and we corral that Tennessee Titans offense and get out of London with a 7+ point win. So I think we come back home with a victory, which then we stroll into week number 7, and we face the Detroit Lions at home, which I think is another victory. I think the Detroit Lions is a team who has been known in the Dan Cameron era to fight hard. Okay. They haven't broken into the playoffs yet, but they fight hard. They finished strong at the end of last season. Their offense was explosive at the end of last season. But I think that some of the trouble that the Detroit Lions is going to have is finding wide receivers to be productive uh, going into this season. 4 of the wide receivers got suspended. DJ Shark is now in Carolina, and so so they're basically going to have 4 or 5 new wide receivers step in and play big roles this season. And so I don't know if they figure it all out by the time they play us in week 7 in Baltimore. I think that and they also changed at running back. They traded DeAndre Swift to the Philadelphia Eagles, so they have a lot of change going on the offensive side of the ball. Advantage a veteran Baltimore Ravens defense. I think that gives us the advantage on that side of the ball. And then our offense against their defense, they traded away Jeff Okudah, who was a high draft pick from a couple of years ago. I think he was a 3rd overall pick. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But they traded him away to the Atlanta Falcons this offseason. And so I think they may be in a little bit of transition on defense as well. I think they'll fight hard. I think it'll be a tough battle early, maybe the first, second quarter, but I think we pull away after halftime again with another 7+ point victory. So at this point, we'll be 2-1 in the second quarter of the season. And then we stroll into week 8. We stroll into week 8, and we have to travel across the country to Arizona and play the 425 game against the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals seem to be a team that's in upheaval. There was questions of if they would resign Kyler Murray to an extension. He scrubbed his social media page. They gave him a deal. Then he goes out and tears his ACL in the regular season. The same team thought about trading DeAndre Hopkins. The same team had Budda Baker, their best player, probably overall, request a trade. So it seems like and then they fired their coach. And I think they may have a new GM. I may be incorrect in that, but seems like a team who has a lot of upheaval and maybe still trying to figure out their identity. I don't think they figured it out by week 8. I think we strolled into Arizona, whether it's Kyler Murray or some backup. They would stroll into Arizona and pull out another 7-point win. I think we win going away in this game by, like I said, by more than 7 points. I think our offense plays really well. I think our defense plays really well. And I think that we move to 3-1 in this second quarter of the season. So we basically are at the midway point. And at this midway point, guys, we would be 6-2. So 6-2. after having 5 games on the road, one of those games in London, 3 games at home. We got 3 road division wins already, excuse me, 3 road division games already behind us, which means we can set the table to play Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh all at home. And I think we're in good shape at 6-2. I think at that point we may be tied for the division lead. Excuse me, we may be tied by record for the lead in our division. We may be a little bit behind with having 2 losses, but I think that's kind of where we are. So just to recap, opening week game victory to the Houston Texans at home, going to Cincinnati, getting a win there. Then we go back home, beat the Colts. Then we go to Cleveland and lose, go to Pittsburgh and lose, back-to-back losses. We get it together. In London, beat the Tennessee Titans. Pick up another victory in week 7, and then we close out the first half of the season with a victory in Arizona. 6-2, the Baltimore Ravens in good position. So listen, let me know what you guys think so far. Do you think it's close? Do you think it's accurate? Tell me where you guys think wins and losses are. Super excited to see what you guys have. See what is the Baltimore Ravens record again in this way too early season projection. Let me know what you guys want me to know. I appreciate you guys. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.